It's the old story of the unstoppable force versus the immovable object, the Lake County Corn Dogs, #1 team in the league, versus the hottest team in the league, the Southland Vikings. Andrew Mild with Noel Ferry. And Noel, the last time the Corn Dogs were here, they won 4-2 against Joliet. They won last night's game by a final score of 10-4 on the road against the American Giants. But those games are like afterthoughts when you're going in against a team that has won 6 straight games and only 2.5 games behind you in the league standings.
Yeah, for some fans, it might seem like we have dominated the Vikings here at Legacy Field. The Corn Dogs have, and if you look at the numbers, it's 3-3.
It's 3-3.
We've won 3 games here, lost 3 games against them at their home at PNW, and it's tough. This is a tough team here.
This is a scrappy team. Their offense has been red hot. They have batted as a team over the last 5 games a .368 average. They've been clobbering the baseball. They had no home runs a week ago when the Corn Dogs beat them 13-6. They hit one in that game. They have now up to 4 home runs in their last 5 games. So they have been unstoppable, and the Corn Dogs have the tough task here at home. The Corn Dogs, for the good part, are 10-1 at home. The only loss against the Oilman after that long stretch of games, 12 games in 12 days. They were exhausted, but they bounced back on Sunday against the Generals.
Yeah, and yesterday's game, the bats weren't even necessarily that hot. It was just they were hitting the ball extremely hard, so they were scoring a bunch. A couple home runs, 4 home runs actually yesterday, and that always helps. But here, we don't see too many home runs here at Legacy Field, except for that one matchup where we did score 4, so maybe I take that back. But it's going to be scoring early. The Corn Dogs need to take advantage of today against Zach Zabrowski. Jimmy Burke is in to pitch for the Lake County Corn Dogs, one of the most consistent pitchers on the roster. So we'll see if they can get that done.
Yeah, Zabrowski started the 13-6 game against the Corn Dogs. It's the last loss that the Vikings have all the way back on June 10th, where he gave up 7 earned runs on 9 hits. And you said it, Noel, when you're playing a team that's hot like the Vikings, you got to come out hitting first.
Yeah, definitely going to be an aggressive approach today. Try to run this score up quickly, but if Zabrowski isn't thrown in the zone, maybe we do see the passive approach.
You do have to be careful, though, if you're James Burke against a special hitter for the Vikings. His name is Kyle Fenner. He's been in the lineup, and you look at his numbers. He's on a 6-game hitting streak right now, a lot of them in multi-hit games. His average was a .345. He's already built it up to a .415. He's now tied for Gavin Terry in batting average. So you're going to see 2 really good hitters leading off the lineup today for the Vikings and the Corn Dogs. And as we're talking about Gavin Terry, our Off-Square Brewing stat of the game is that Gavin Terry's home run yesterday, and this from a reliable source that is Mr. Terry, his father, that was Gavin Terry's first home run in Little League, travel ball, high school, college. The home run yesterday against the American Giants that went over the right field wall is the first home run Terry's ever hit in his career.
Yeah, we're just really happy that we were able to be a part of that and see it in person, and you could tell how excited Terry's dad was in that moment.
He hit it hard, and the wind helped him out. And for our University of Chicago Medicine injury report, it's all clear. We're all good. Should be healthy today. But, Noel, what is it going to be our misprint matchup preview? What's something you're going to look forward to in this game?
Well, I think it is going to have to be Jimmy Burke on the mound just because of the consistency we've seen from him. This is a Corn Dogs team that has great starters across the board, and they've all been coming up big, but no one needs to come up bigger than Jimmy Burke today because this is one of the most important games the Corn Dogs have seen so far this season. It determines who's winning the series as of right now. It keeps either team close or ahead in the race, so I think it's all going to be up to Jimmy Burke versus Zach Zabrowski. It's
going to be a fun one. We're going to send over to the national anthem. Thank you for tuning in to the Corn Dogs pregame show. When we come back, we got the starting lines for you and the first pitch. Northern League action here on the Corn Dogs Broadcasting Network. Corn Dogs and Vikings. It's another fun one here at Legacy Fields. And here we go. Corn Dogs at home in the whites again. The Southland Vikings who are on the road taking on these Corn Dogs. They have played 6 games against one another. Both teams have split, winning 3 games apiece, and they're ready to do battle here. And for the Southland Vikings, this is a game they really want to win. They want to come here and get their first road win against the Corn Dogs and get 1 game closer, as they're only 2.5 games back of Lake County in first place of the Northern League. And really, these 2 teams are ahead of everyone else.
Yeah, there is, in fact, a regular season champion that's crowned at the end of the season, so it would be great for a club to come away with that title. Right now, Corn Dogs on top, but it hasn't been coming as easily for the Corn Dogs as of recently after their huge win streak to start off the season. But I believe one thing you said earlier, Andrew, is that this win streak by the Southland Vikings is the second longest in the entire league that we've seen, other than this Corn Dogs win streak earlier in the season.
Yeah, the Corn Dogs had an 8-game winning streak earlier this season, which was snapped on the road against the Southland Vikings. So the Corn Dogs could play spoiler here at home against the Vikings, who are trying to make the comeback in the standings. But the Vikings are going to have to get past Jimmy or James Burke. We'll call him either or. And Burke has been really good this season. He has pitched in 14 innings this year, and he has struck out 15, walked 4, and allowed just 6 hits, and he pitched against the Vikings in that no-hitter game. And he went 5 innings, allowed no runs, and, of course, no hits. If there's a no-hitter, you didn't allow any hits. 1 walk, and he struck out 5. The last time we saw Burke was on the road against the American Giants, where he allowed 1 run, which was unearned, through 5 innings, and he struck out 6. As that was where the strike zone was a little bit tight on, but opened up as he went. And once the strike zone opened up, Jimmy Burke was right back to where he was, just flat out dominant. Let's look at the defensive alignment of the Lake County Corn Dogs. In the outfield, going from left to right, Scott Hansen will be out in left after he played third and caught yesterday. Gavin Terry is out in center. And then Jake Ferry is in right. Cal Curiel returns to the line playing third. Tyler Schultz at short. Colin Small right next to him at second base. Brett Mathies is playing first base. And the battery mate for Jimmy Burke today is Nicholas Johnstone. Kyle Fenner will lead it off, and we talked about Fenner being red hot. The first pitch is down low, and we start at 6:59 on a gorgeous day at the ballpark once again. Another good crowd on hand. Burke wasting no time. The pitch is hit into right field. Going towards the line is Ferry. He seems to be underneath it, and he is. He opens up the hips, grabs the baseball, pockets it, and there's the first out.
That's the way to go against one of the best hitters in the Northern League. Get him out in 2 pitches. Keep that pitch count low and keep chugging. Keep moving along, and you don't want to, make too big of a deal about that 1 out to start off with. Just business as usual.
Yeah, for Fenner, he's 12 for his last 24. There was a leadoff hitter. Taylor hits a ground ball left side. It's gobbled up by Curiel. Takes a couple steps, throws it first, and there's 2 outs on back-to-back pitches. A fly out to right, and then Cal Curiel makes it nice. Looks nice and smooth over at third. And there's 2 gone for John Crowell.
That was textbook right there by Curiel. Beautiful field, right into the glove, and a great throw over to first.
And now John Crowell will try with 2 outs. As, again, this has been a Vikings team in the last 5 games has just been virtually unbeatable. They call it strike. They scored 50 runs over those 5 games, which is averaging exactly 10 runs a game. If you score 10 runs in a game, you're doing well for yourself. The 0-1 drops in for a strike. The slider 0-2. They also hit 3 home runs and drove in 38 RBIs. So just over 7 in that department. 0-2, Burke delivers. A broken bat right side. Coming off the mound is Burke, but it's going to be Colin Small who throws over the first. And the Vikings go down 1-2-3 to start off this game. That's something they've done in the last 6 straight wins. And the Corn Dogs are going to come up with no score. And you're watching the Corn Dogs on the Corn Dogs Broadcasting Network. Welcome back into the booth as James Burke had a 6-pitch top of the first. We got 2 groundouts and a flyout. So a good start for the Corn Dogs, and let's see if they match that top of the first with some runs, get ahead of this red-hot Southland Vikings team. And this is the lineup that Justin Heisman's going to go to against Zach Zabrowski. Gavin Terry hit the home run yesterday, will be batting leadoff as per usual. And that'll be another stat we'll go into, is him being in the leadoff spot. Brett Mathies batting second. And then Tyler Schultz will bat in his usual spot in the third in the order. Roman Kuntz returns, batting clean up, and he'll be the designated hitter. Curiel plays third base and bats fifth. Scott Hansen out in left field, bats sixth. Ferry in the 7-hole out in right field. Johnstone behind the plate. He'll be batting eighth. And then Colin Small rounds out the lineup in his usual spot, the 9-hole, playing second base.
Well, Andrew, when you see someone batting 500 in a leadoff spot, you think, maybe a couple times they started at that leadoff spot. Gavin Terry is our regular leadoff hitter. 14 at-bats in that leadoff spot. That's the second most on the team. And he is batting 500 on the year.
So
with 6 walks.
So that's kind of satisfying to know he's 7 for 14, but 6 walks too.
Yes.
Wow. So quick math right there. That'd be 13 out of 20 times he's reached base.
Yes.
And then 13 times 5 would be 650. Would that be right on that?
13 times 5.
That'd be 650.
Yes.
Awesome. So 650 OBP. Do quick math up here in the booth. As we're ready for the bottom of the first, the pitch from Zabrowski is in there for a strike. As he'll start off against Gavin Terry. We talked to his dad, and he goes, yeah, that was the first home run. So that's a reliable source. I'm assuming Mr. Terry has watched all of Gavin's games throughout his career. The 0-1 delivery, it's a ground ball to the right side. Pilicki is there, and he flips it and gets the out. And just as the top of the first ended, that's how the bottom of the first starts, with a ground out to second base. And Brett Mathies will come up. And this is interesting to look at the lineup, the way it is against a lefty like Zabrowski. 3 of the first 4 hitters are lefty. Terry, Mathies, and Kuntz. Schultz, who bats third, is the only player that's going to be in the top 4 that's a righty. Strike to Mathies, 0-1, breaking ball. Talked to Mathies before the game, and he'd had some issues. I don't want to say it was a slump. I just felt as though Mathies was being extremely unlucky at the plate. He was hitting the baseball hard, just finding the players on the right side. The 0-1 deal. Mathies tries to go the opposite way, but he gets underneath it, pops it up to third, and it will be caught by A.J. Taylor with 2 hands, and there's 2 quick outs. Now I'll send up Tyler Schultz. But back to Mathies, I asked him if that was his approach against the Generals, to go the opposite way and let the baseball come in, because he was rolling over on some of them. He goes, I was seeing the ball well, and I was trying to get the barrel out in front. I was letting it get out too far, and that was causing my wrist to flip, and that's why I was hitting everything on the ground to that right side. Zabrowski throws one down low, 1-0 to Schultz. And he said that he was trying to let it go in and go the opposite way, and that's when he went 3 for 5 and picked up an RBI in the bottom of the first inning after just 2 hitters, Terry and then Mathies. Here comes the pitch. That is down and away, 2-0. Schultz in yesterday's game had 2 hits and an RBI single. It was the 10th run scored, so he also had the last RBI in the 10-4 victory against Chicago yesterday at Ed Clancy Field. The 2-0. That's a breaking ball that is up and in, 3-0. So Schultz ahead here, and with this being a big game, it's almost like the next playoff game, a good test for the Corn Dogs right here. You might see Schultz take one here. Zabrowski is set. He goes out of the stretch, and that's a called strike. He paints it on the inside corner, 3-1. So now you have free range to swing, and there is a slight breeze blowing out to right field, but nothing too crazy that we've seen before. Yesterday, the wind was really the difference maker in the Corn Dogs' win, as they hit 4 home runs, all to right field. That should be a trivia question. Is who hit all 4 home runs yesterday?
Let's see. I believe it was Gavin Terry,
Jacob
Ferry.
Yeah, that's an easy one. That's how I remember.
And then Donovan Nanfelt.
Doug Loden. There is a drone on the field, and Zabrowski threw the ball at the drone, and now the drone is heading out. I have never seen – the drone is still here. It's looking right into our booth and now heading over us here in the broadcasting booth. This is interesting. I was just thinking about that the other day. This happened at Wrigley Field. It was a rainy day, so it was a delay. And this is really the slowest thing we've seen in the game, as the first inning has been relatively quick. And they put a drone above the left field wall at the delay of the game. Schultz takes a hearty cut, and he came up empty just underneath the fastball. It's a 3-2 count now with 2 outs. Schultz trying to get on base any way he can and set up Roman Kuntz. Kuntz is on deck. He does have a home run on the year. So does Tyler Schultz. Payoff pitch is on his way. It's hit into right. Going back is Pilicki. He's there, and he makes the play. So the Corn Dogs can't capitalize on James Burke. 1-2-3, top of the first, as Zabrowski answers Burke with his own 1-2-3, bottom of the first. We go to the second with no score. And you're watching the Corn Dogs on the Corn Dogs Broadcasting Network. The first inning was brisk and quick, as both teams went 1-2-3 at the plate. And it was really a really interesting way to start. Is these are two of the best offenses in the Northern League. I believe Southland is number 2 and the Corn Dogs are 3, and number 1 is the Joliet Generals. We have, would you say, 4 of the top 10 players are Joliet General players. And the first pitch to Pilicki is out for ball 1.
5 of the top 10.
5 of the top 10. So half of the top 10 batting average leaders wear the green and gold. 1-0. Pilicki fouls it straight back, just got underneath the fastball. 1-1. Pilicki hit 2 home runs since the last time we've seen him, as this winning streak did start against the Corn Dogs in a 6-1 win at Dowling Park. The 1-1 is a called strike. 1-2 now. Pilicki hit one yesterday against Crestwood, and the way that Kevin Malater described it, he didn't know if the wind was going to hook it foul, but was able just to go around the pole for a second shot in the season and ring him up. That's called strike 3. And Johnstone actually threw it to first base instead of third. That was interesting. And Pilicki is the first person to go down on strikes in this game and for against James Burke. There's 1 out.
Well, I like the enthusiasm, Andrew, and it must feel good to be able to, get those calls out there exactly like you want them.
Exactly. McKenna takes one outside, 1-0. Yeah, you're alluding to how we have to really remain quiet when we're at Chicago because we're right behind home plate. Wind up in the pitch. It's 2-0. As that one was a misfire to McKenna. As usually you're up here in the booth, you're protected. The players normally can't hear you unless you're screaming belligerently. 2-0 pitch is just off the corner, 3-0. But when we're in Chicago, we like to keep it down a little bit. We don't want to add insult to the injury to the players. We know it is a very tough game, the sport of baseball. McKenna takes one for a strike as he's still ahead 3-1 now.
Well, and it's unfortunate that it was that game where
4 home runs
were
yeah.
hit, and
that
the
one's
strikeout
gone.
record was also broke.
The 3-1. And McKenna hooks one to the left and out of play. 3-2 now. I would call the home run, and that it is almost as monotone. And for our viewers, they know that I'm not a very monotone person and do the cowhide joyride call, and it bothered me. Payoff. Swing and a miss. Emergency hack by McKenna. He couldn't get to it. Back-to-back strikeouts by Burke, as that was a mean heater. And that's back-to-back Ks, and he's now retired 5 straight Vikings to start off the day.
Yeah, Burke's starting to feel it. He's not necessarily the type of pitcher that's going to get you a ton of strikeouts, but he likes to force the weak contact and get quick outs.
You average around a strikeout per inning on the year, which isn't too bad. Molly takes ball 1. But then you look at Connor Pangburn numbers, and he's pitched 12 innings on the year and struck out 23. So there's that going for Connor Pangburn. Yesterday's Matt Gron, player of the game. He set the strikeout record again. Molly hits one to the right. It goes over the net, and it's 1-1. Thank you for tuning into this broadcast. Happy to have you, as this might be, if we could give it the title, might be the Northern League game of the night. Fouled straight back. This is our chance, Noel. And it hits off our door, actually, to our left, and it's 1-2. One of these days, that's the type of ball you need.
Exactly.
That would be it.
A little less height, though.
Yeah.
We do have an awning right above the window, but I swear to the viewers that if I get one that's going to be right out this window, I will dive for it. I don't care.
1-2. Good pitch. Slider that broke off the table, and the count's evened out at 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Every team in the Northern League is playing, and then some. Break-even pitch. And that one is just off the corner. Curry, Al, and Burke were heading for the dugout. They thought that was strike 3, but it was just off. Johnstone did communicate that to Heisman, saying it's a little off. Another 3-2 pitch. Chopper to the right side, small crashing. He fields it, and he dropped the ball on the transfer. He had it for a split second, and then he lost it. It would have been a tough throw, but it'll go down as an E4 on Colin Small. Molly is the first person to reach base, and Blaze Cano will now get a chance to bat with a runner on first base. Still a tough play by Colin Small, who's shown to be pretty reliable with the glove, for the exception of his first game. It was actually against these Southland Vikings, where he had a little bit of trouble with the turf. And runner on the move, there's the pitch, and Cano swings. And if you're Max Molly, you're not happy about that, because that was an easy base at second. That might have been a hit and run, but at that point, Molly had such a good jump, you might just want to take that pitch because he would have been standing up.
Yeah, Molly most likely could have been more than halfway to second by the time it even got into the glove of Johnstone. Just let it go by. Even if it's a strike, you got a runner in scoring position.
They're going to throw over the first base now, and it's not in time. Mathis got the back of the leg of Molly, which is probably a good move by Burke after seeing how good of a jump Molly had on him. You got to keep a close eye now. Molly getting a good lead over at first base, and they're going to throw over. And it's a new style of base running that you're seeing from Molly over there. What he's trying to do is get a little bit of a head start. So he's trying to time up a bit of a jump and go if Burke goes. But if not, you work your way back. You see, now he's going. He had that 2-jump lead. Johnson throws down. He doesn't need the lead because he got him. Nicholas Johnstone throws him out. And that ends the inning as James Burke is still facing the minimum. We go to the bottom of the second with both teams scoring no runs thus far, but with the way the offenses are, we should see some action-packed offense. You're watching Corn Dogs Baseball on the Corn Dogs Broadcasting Network. Home half of the second inning here from Crown Point, Indiana, on a gorgeous summer evening where the weather is 83 degrees. So just perfect baseball weather. It's not too humid. If you've been out in the last couple of days, you know it's been hot. As we head into the inning, we'll give you a friendly reminder that the University of Chicago is proud to be an exclusive medical provider of your Lake County Corn Dogs. U Chicago Medicine is a leading community of physicians, researchers, and game changers that make a difference in your life. U Chicago Medicine at the forefront. As you see, Noel Ferry is still messing with our camera as someone unplugged the charger from the camera so it doesn't eventually run out of battery. But Roman Kuntz is going to lead off here after a quick 1-2-3 bottom of the first by Zabrowski as he induced a ground ball, a pop-out, and a fly-out. First pitch to Roman is down and away, and the count is 1-0 to Kuntz. Kuntz is batting at .235 on the year with 6 RBIs, 8 walks, and 10 Ks. But he does have a home run and a double. He's trying to see if Roman Kuntz can get a hit here. As he hits one into right field, it will drop down. So Roman Kuntz sees an inside fastball, turns on it, and places it perfectly into right for the first hit in this game.
Don't you love it when the thing that you're saying happens the next second?
Yeah, exactly. There was no broadcaster's jinx there. It was a helpful jinx.
Yes.
What would you call that?
I would call that the
that wizardry?
broadcaster's fortune.
Fortune. Yeah, there you go. I like that. The broadcaster's fortune. Make me feel like I'm going to make a fortune by broadcasting. There's a good chance I won't be. Here comes Cal Curiel. It's upstairs, 1-0. And we mentioned that every team in the league is playing tonight, and then some, because the Generals and the Oilmen are playing a doubleheader in Carroll Streams. The pitch, Curiel hits one on the ground. Cano charges it. He's going to head over the first base and get the out of Curiel, but on the play, Kuntz is going to get to second base. So, good awareness by Roman Kuntz to slide in second base also, just in case there was a throw over there. But it goes as a bunt, really, for Cal Curiel, even though it won't go in the box score. But he does move the runner up 90 feet, now in scoring position for Scott Hansen. Look at the scoreboard. Crestwood up 5-4 on the American Giants, and the Oilmen are beating down the Generals 13-2. Down in the dirt is the first pitch, 1-0 to Hansen. Hansen, for this year, is batting at .271, so a respectable average, with 11 RBIs on the year. He has struck out 10 times compared to 6 walks and 3 hit by pitches. So he has a nice, comfortable .373 on base percentage. Pitch from Zabrowski is down low, 2-0. For the Corn Dogs, they would love to get a run right here and jump out on the Vikings. The Vikings really haven't trailed too much during their winning streak, except for one game you can think of. Zabrowski is set. There's a long pause as he stares with Kuntz. The pitch, and that is high, 3-0, as that slider stayed up before dropping into the glove of Molly. But they were down 10-6 going into the 7th inning against the American Giants, and they scored 5 runs, and the final run scored on a errant throw from the first baseman that sailed in the left field as it went over the head of the shortstop. And then they scored a couple runs on that play and ended up winning the game because of darkness. Because when there's 21 runs scored, usually it takes a little bit to get through 7 innings. So it was like they had played 9 because they went 3.5 hours that night. The pitch, Hansen lets it go right down Broadway for strike 1. Almost like he was watching a musical right there, 3-1. But you want to see a good pitch right here and try to drive in Kuntz, get ahead. Zabrowski delivers the 3-1. It's hit right back up the middle, not hit too hard. It's going to be a close play at first base. The barehand throw is, I don't think it's in time. It's not in time. An infield single for Hansen. The reason why we have to wait a little bit is Pilicki ran into the base umpire, and the umpire, instead of being able to signal it, had to catch Pilicki. But Hansen able to lay out that infield single. Now the Corn Dogs have runners on the corners for Jake Ferry. And of all the 4 home runs yesterday, Noel, Jake Ferry was by far the most impressive.
Oh, definitely. Hit it no doubt, I would say that
No
had
doubt.
absolutely zero wind help there. Obviously, it made it go further, but that
Yeah.
would have gone regardless.
The first pitch is down and away, 1-0. I asked him today, I said, Jake, what did that baseball say to you before that pitch? You know that baseball has a family. He just laughed it off, and he goes, I knew it was gone, and I bat flipped. I haven't checked it out on Facebook Live. And they're going to go over the first base. Hansen's going to get into a rundown here. Cano has the ball, and Scott Hansen's going to get to first base. So after the pickoff, Hansen's able to get the base. And that was interesting. Crowd caught the ball, flipped over the short, and then Cano just held on to it as he looked over for Roman Kuntz to see if Roman Kuntz was taking off. But Hansen's got good speed. You don't have a lot of time to stare at another runner. So Hansen gets first base.
Yeah, almost.
So nothing really happened.
No, that was essentially just another usual throw over to first.
It's just got a little bit of cardio that Scott Hansen there. So still runners are on the corners here. The pitch to Ferry. Ferry takes a cut and misses, 1-1. Well, the good news, ladies and gentlemen, we discussed this yesterday, but I'm wondering if he brought the sheet with him. Noel Ferry watched The Sandlot. So good news. And do you have that paper with you?
I'm not sure. I think it's in my notebook somewhere. I didn't answer the questions as I was watching it, so I'll be able to test my memory.
Ferry takes a strike, 1-2. But I remember some of them. One of them was, what team does Benny the Jet Rodriguez play for?
That ends up being the Los Angeles Dodgers.
Exactly, yes. So that's a ping noise if we have it. Upstairs, 2-2 now to Ferry. Ferry did hit a home run yesterday against A.J. White, which was a lefty, and all the American Giants pitched yesterday were lefties.
If I remember correctly, I believe one of the questions was, what was the name of the dog?
Yes,
And
I wanted both his names.
Hercules?
What did they call him, and what was his real name?
Yes, it's the Beast and Hercules.
Yes. Break-even pitch. Ferry gets emergency hack. It was a late-breaking slider. He hit it straight back. 2-2 remains the count. What year was the baseball from that they got from James Earl Jones?
I believe it was
I can give you a pass on this one.
1927.
Yeah, he got it. He got it. It was the 27 Yankees, Murderers Row.
Murderers Row.
They won the World Series that year. Now name all the names on the baseball. 2-2. That's inside. 3-2. Just a bit too tight to Ferry. I'm joking because
good luck with that. All I know, Babe Ruth
and Lou Gehrig. There's only two I could really list off that team. There's probably someone that is a baseball historian listening to this, just naming the entire starting lineup and then how many home runs they hit that year. Payoff pitch, and they're going to check on Hansen again. The throw's a little bit high to Crowell, and now they're going to commit, and Cano drops the ball. Kuntz is going to head home. The throw should be in time. They got him. They got Kuntz. Kuntz broke late after Cano dropped the ball, so that's going to go as a 1-3-6-2 put out of Kuntz at home, and Hansen is still over at first base as Hansen has been picked off twice in the same at-bat. But here it is, 3-2, 2 outs. Hansen will be on the move, on the pitch, and if Ferry can hit one into the gap, the Corn Dogs could score a run, but we'll have to see. That's another step. But again, 1-3-6-2. That's how they put out Roman Kuntz at home plate. Here's the pitch, and it's ball 4. So after the interesting play, I think that's one way you can really describe it, the Corn Dogs hit a 3-2, 2-out walk. And Johnstone, we have to talk to you before the game, will come up in a big spot in the bottom of the second inning.
You know, Kuntz there, obviously not one of the fastest players on the team, and when you don't get a good jump like that, I don't know if I like that takeoff there, but it's a great pickoff move that Zabrowski has with him being a lefty. He has the windup that he goes into the throw over to first. We've seen that with Brett Mathies.
Johnstone stepping up to the plate. Here's the pitch, and it's a strike at the knees, 0-1. We talked to Johnstone, and we talked about what it's like to play baseball in Australia. He was actually offered a semi-pro contract with the Bandits, but had to turn it down so he could keep his amateur status and play at South Suburban, where he played this last season and batted well over .320. Johnstone hits one hard to the right side. Diving play by Crowell to race over the first base. They slide, and they got him. What a play by Crowell to end the inning as Johnstone crushed that baseball. It took some grass with them, and Crowell's Scorpion got up, ran over the first, And they got him. We head to the third inning with no score, and when we come back, Noel Ferry will be on the call. You're watching Corn Dogs Baseball on the Corn Dogs Broadcasting Network.
Welcome back to Legacy Field. Still scoreless here, top of the third inning. I'm Noel Ferry with your play-by-play. And here's a friendly reminder that Purdue Federal Credit Union is proud to be part of the Crown Point community and support organizations like the Corn Dogs. At Purdue Federal, we take pride in being your financial partner through all of life's big events. You can visit us just down the road at 113th and Broadway or always online at purduefed.com. Purdue Federal Credit Union, your trusted financial partner for life. Also, Plumbers Local 210 is a proud partner of the Lake County Corn Dogs. We strive to provide and maintain education of apprentices and upgrading of journeymen in the plumbing industry. And Andrew, that was an interesting inning that we just saw of baseball with that, like you said, described it perfectly, that scorpion play by John Crowell over at first as his legs almost went over his head. Blaze Cano up, takes one outside for ball one. That's where Burke has been missing a lot today. Off to the outside there with the fastball. That one's a foul tip into the glove of Johnstone, but drops it 1-1.
Yeah, Johnstone probably hit that ball in the mid-90s over to first base, and most players are going to make that play, but Crow was able to make the diving grab, and the whole inning really stems off of Coonskin cut it out on that home plate.
1-1. That one hit hard into left, but unable to be fielded by Hansen as it pops right up in front of his glove. Cano's going for two, and Hansen had trouble picking the ball up. And that one almost could have been a triple there for Cano, but he's standing at second. Leadoff double for the Vikings.
Yeah, that's the sun right there. I forgot which game it was, but it was an instance where the sun had made for two doubles like that because the left fielder couldn't see the ball come off the bat. And that's what happened to Hansen is that frozen rope hit to him. He lost it, and then by the time he found out where it was already on top of him.
That brings up Bo Pilicki, runner at second. That one's up top for ball one. Yeah, that ball was definitely playable by Hansen as it dropped right in front of his glove. It really was a guessing game there at the end, and it took some unfortunate bounces all the way to the back of the warning track. Comes the 1-0. That one's fouled off to the right.
Yeah, luckily, you're not playing at Dowling Park because if this was Dowling, I want to say it's a little bit deeper down the lines there. That ball would have kept rolling because of it being all turf.
Yeah,
and it was hit.
Wouldn't have slowed up at all.
No, it was already hit extremely hard by Cano. It was a hanging slider.
Burke fires the 1-1. That one makes contact with Bo Pilicki, sends him over to first.
Yeah, that's back-to-back at-bats where the sliders really hurt James Burke. That double in the left and then a hit by pitch right there. that's another free base that you're giving to a red-hot team, and you don't want them to get some momentum at the plate. You really want to go deep into this ball game and get your team get a lead behind you. The Corn Dogs are on Zabrowski. It was just some unfortunate base running, ran them out of the inning.
Runners at first and second for Nick Doherty as that one catches left side. Strike one.
Be a good time for a double play right here.
Maybe even a triple play.
Haven't seen that yet.
Nope. Yeah, Burke, love to see him just move past that, not let that hit by pitch get into his head too much. Just move forward with the game. 0-1. Big cut by Doherty. 0-2.
Well, that's the best thing you can do after hit by pitch, getting ahead in the count 0-2. Try to get a strikeout here, and you got to be extremely careful with the guy that's standing on deck.
0-2, so it'd be a big out, grab some momentum. So that one's popped up, and I'm not going to be able to keep my promise. Diving out the window, so that one's just off to the right of the window. We'll see 0-2 again. Yeah, I remember this year when Indiana University was taking on Purdue University in basketball, a T-shirt was launched into the stands, and a bunch of people next to me reached up to grab it. I wasn't in my seat yet. Popped up into the air, landed on the stairs right in front of me. So I picked it up, put it into my coat, and I will forever have that as a souvenir of the best college basketball game I ever witnessed in person.
I think a lot of people would agree with you. That was a fun one. It came down to the final shot.
Rob Finnessy, 0-2. Up too high.
I had it happen to me at a Pacers Bulls game in Indiana. Might be the only Pacers shirt that I own, and it was free. It landed in the seat next to me as the guy was standing up, so I was able to reach in, grab it. Still have it.
Rob him. 1-2. That one's hit on the third baseline to Scott Hansen. He gets one and throws over to first. And Mattheis was unable to get the out there at first as he came off the bag, it appears. So Cal Curiel gets the out over at third, but runners remain on first and second.
You would love to have seen that double play right there. It was just a bad throw from Curiel, but at least you do get an out, and you're not facing Kyle Fenner with the bases loaded. Because it wasn't hit too hard, so Curiel was able to pick it up, tag the base, and throw it over. It's 0-1 as Fenner fouled off the first pitch.
Back up to the top of the order. Kyle Fenner, 415 on the year, just astounding. Burke fires. That one misses inside, almost made contact with Fenner there. So that's 1-1.
And that's what you would like to miss with that slider. You want to miss inside, so if they do swing, they'll break their bat. You don't want to miss down the middle of the plate like you did to Cano to start off this game.
Especially not for Fenner. Can't give him anything that he likes.
No, especially the way he's been swinging the bat.
1-1. That one's hit on a rope into right field, but that'll go foul. And to be honest with you, Andrew, that ball had been hit a little bit harder. I thought for a second we might have seen a triple play there. But But Curiel, it took a little bit too much time to get to third, and he realized, might as well just go for the safe throw over to first. But wasn't on target and brought Mattheis off the bag. 1-2. And that one's also hit on a rope into deep, and Colin Small isn't able to go. So now bases loaded on a quick single by Kyle Fenner. Everyone moves up one.
Well, if you're Kyle Fenner right now, everything looks like a grapefruit, the way you've been swinging the bat. And right there, he didn't hit it all too hard, was just able to place it perfectly over Colin Small's head. And now you have these bases loaded. You got to be careful against Taylor and Crowell. But it looks like corners are going to play in, and the middle infield is going to play back, just in case there's a ball hit up the middle. It could turn a double play, but hit to the corner, you can go home and get the lead runner out.
Burke with the new batter sends one upstairs. 1-0. And it was Crowell who hit the home run here at Legacy Fields in their last meeting. So you'd love to grab another out before he comes up and try to keep this a scoreless inning. Fires the 1-0, and that one right down the middle. 1-2. Taylor took that one, but he'd love to have it back for sure.
Well, we've seen from Burke, he likes to go outside with the fastball and then try to front door these hitters with the slider.
1-1. Bases loaded. He fires. That one hit foul off to the right.
That's really good news for Burke here as he's ahead 1-2 one more time. And again, this would be a good time for a double play or just get any out of any kind so you can breathe a little bit easier knowing the bases are loaded with 2 outs instead of 1.
A couple times we've seen Burke reach 2 strikes but unable to finish the job. He's looking to do that right now. Fires the 1-2. That one's fouled straight back.
I didn't like the pitch right there. If you're going to throw a fastball on a 1-2 count, you got to make sure it's the top of the zone. So if the hitter does swing at it, there's one of 2 results. 1, it's a strikeout, or 2, they pop it up on the infield, and it would just be an infield fly rule, and he'd be automatically out.
Yeah, Taylor just missed that one. We'll see 1-2 again, and that one's popped up. There goes Mathis to grab it. No tag up or anything, so there's an out, and Burks gives a sigh of relief.
We're not out of it yet, but you do see the light at the end of the tunnel now as you've been able to load up the bases, 1 out, and get the pop out in foul territory. Nice harmless play for Brett Mathis, just to retreat over to his left and haul it in. And now the whole infield's going to play back and just go to the nearest base.
Burke would love to grab his 3rd strikeout here. First pitch to Crowell. That one's up top. I like that pitch. You're going to put it up top.
Yeah, just something to think about.
Yeah.
It's a competitive pitch. You can throw baseballs out of the zone as long as they're competitive. When you start to get wild and not locating towards the strike zone, then it becomes easy for the hitters.
1-0. Same spot. 2-0. Burke doesn't want to get behind here any more than he already is, as a walk would score a runner.
You might want to go to a slider down and away and see if Crowell would reach for it, thinking it's a fastball.
2-0. That one grabs the top of the strike zone. Strike 1. That's a huge pitch right there.
Yeah, that's a good bounce-back pitch. You're still behind 2-1, though. That was a good 2-seam fastball, too. It ran right back in and backdoored Crowell.
2-1. Put it where he doesn't want it. That one's fouled straight back.
Well, this is a big pitch right here. 2-2, 2 outs, bases loaded. And as we mentioned going into the game, this is the classic story of the unstoppable force and the immovable object. The immovable object is Corn Dogs at the top of the standings. They've led for quite some time, and then the unstoppable force are these Vikings, 6 straight wins. They've outscored their opponents 56-26 during those 6 games.
Burke gets his sign. 2-2 count. The windup. He fires. And that one's hit into right. There goes Mathis. It's going foul, not playable. We'll see 2-2 again.
You like the swing you saw there, though, from James Burke. It wasn't a confident one from Crowell, who was just trying to foul it off and just stuck the barrel out there and hoped for something good to happen. And it's almost a good result for the Corn Dogs. If there's another maybe 10 feet of foul territory, Mathis was right on top of the ball, but just hit the top of the fencing.
Yeah, that one did stay in. Still foul, but not playable by Mathis. 2-2 again. Here comes the break even. And that one's popped straight up. Underneath it is Mathis, and he grabs the out. Gets the Corn Dogs out of a sticky situation, and Burke remains cool, calm, and collected. We head to the bottom of the 3rd.
It's Mark Viquez, who is known as Ballpark Hunter. Mark, welcome to the broadcast. Nice having you.
It's great being here. Thank you for having me on.
So can you give the fans a little bit of insight of what you do? What is Ballpark Hunter?
Ballpark Hunter is a YouTube page that just hit 1,000 subscriptions
Congratulations.
today. Thank you. That's like the ultimate goal. Anybody?
So you come to the Corn Dogs games, a little bit of a celebration.
Definitely it is. Yeah, I was at the White Sox game earlier. Was roasting my butt off, paying $12 for a beer, and here you get it for $6. So
You cut that right in half.
cut it in half. Free parking, family-friendly environment. But what I do is I tour different ballparks, stadiums, arenas, and I make 10 to 15-minute videos about them, and I put them on my YouTube page, which is Ballpark Hunter. And I get people to watch it. Sometimes we get a lot of hits, sometimes we don't. So
I mean, we're also on the YouTube game ourselves, and I know that it can be a ruthless place that is YouTube. You either hit or you miss. It's in between.
And it's amazing because I have a buddy named Spencer Collins who has a great page. We both went to a Milwaukee Bucks game back in November. He's got about 10,000 views. I have about 300
Oh, wow.
for that one particular page. But I do a lot. I do mostly ballparks. The summertime is my time to just go out there and hunt for ballparks and review everything from the major leagues down to the Northern League. And
To the right side, and it's caught by Pilicki, and there's one out. That was Colin Small. There's one out. Go back to the top of the order with Gavin Terry.
so there's not any ballpark I wouldn't go to write a review, to check out. And I've been to some teams. I've been to the Pecos League recently, which is some of the ballparks out there a little bit. You kind of wonder what's going on here, but this is a wonderful environment. You got great crowd, food, beer, merchandise. You can't go wrong. The fans are into it. Kids are chasing foul balls. Small town baseball at its best. So this is a lot of fun. It's great that Crown Point has, or Lake County has a team like this.
Yeah, I mean, I've had a lot of fun interacting with these fans. From Crown Point, I knew this was going to take off, especially with Cherville not too far away either. And baseball is just huge up here. And you're from Michigan City, so you already knew that baseball is like a second language besides basketball or football.
Yeah, well, I'm actually from Indianapolis. I live
Indianapolis.
not Michigan. I'm born and raised in New Jersey. Came out to school here, and decided to stay here. Met my wife in Indy. She's from Chicago. She says, "Go on to your ballpark trips, have fun." I just got back from Texas. I did about 7 ballparks in 7 days, or 6 in 7 days, and you're a little bit weird when you do this sometimes, because who wants to go to a ballpark every single night, maybe 2 a day? My wife's like, "No, you're on your own. You're on your own. I can't be doing all that. Driving 2 hours to a ballpark, coming right back." But to me, it's fun, especially when I get to make the videos and put them on the YouTube page. I also write for StadiumJourney.com, which is a website dedicated to sports reviews. We have a YouTube page. We have a podcast. So I write, I create videos, I tweet. I'm doing a lot with ballparks during the summer.
Chopper to the right side. Gavin Terry's going to have to race, and he's going to leg it out for an infield single. Speed, indeed, does kill.
That's why you hustle.
Standing at first, exactly.
Yep.
Especially when Terry's got the speed that he does. And he's a lefty hitter. He booked it right out of the box. Now he's standing at first base as he leads the Northern League in stolen bases with 15.
Yeah.
So of all the ballparks you've been to, have you tried some of the unique food that some of them have? We were having a conversation
Oh, yeah.
about how the University of Miami had the buffalo wing shake.
Oh, wow. I was not aware of that.
Yeah, they have like carrots, the celery, and the chicken wings in there.
Okay.
But what's like the most unique food that you've tried on your trip?
Oh, I got to tell you, one that I'm kind of famous for, that one of my first YouTube posts, the Twinkie Dog, which is up in Battle Creek. They're the Battle Creek Battle Jacks now of the Northwoods League. It's a Twinkie. It's cut in half. They put a hot dog in there with whipped cream or cheese. They put some hot nacho cheese on there, and it's not something you want to eat on an everyday basis, but some people do like it. I've had the Fifth Third Burger up in the Whitecaps up in West Michigan. Not all by myself, but some of us shared it. Gateway Grizzlies of the Frontier League, they had a deep-fried slider, which was kind of odd.
Yeah.
But they sprinkled some powdered sugar on it. I'm trying to think what else. West Michigan also had a deep fried Philly cheesesteak. Not too weird, but very good. Like
That
so,
sound really good.
yeah, some of these weird combinations work. Just when I was in Texas, they had. Oh, here we go.
And Gavin Terry is picked off at first base, and Cano's going to apply the tag, and that was a 1-3-6 putout of Terry over at first base. That's the second time a corn dog has been picked off the bases today. There's 2 outs and no runners on now, and Matt Thies still at the plate.
Yeah, Seguin, Texas, they're a collegiate league as well. They take hot Cheetos and they pour cheese on them. Very, very simple dish.
Yeah.
But people were scooping that up with their spoons. All the kids were eating it. I mean, it's just you don't have to get too wacky to create something at the ballpark. But, yeah, everybody's trying to outdo everybody in a food item. But if you got hot dogs, peanuts, popcorn, beer.
Yeah, just if you have the regulars,
yeah,
it's always good.
and that's what sells all the time.
Yeah, it's kind of like a starting
Yeah.
lineup. You're always going to have your reliables at the top, and then your cleanup hitter, which is either a home run or a strikeout for some people.
No, you're right. But I just love going to ballparks. It's my passion. It's my happy place. And when you get to a new one for the first time, you feel this excitement, especially when you see this nice crowd like you do here today.
And you were one of the first fans on Twitter to jump on the corn dog name.
Oh, yeah.
You absolutely loved it.
I loved it. I thought you guys knocked it out of the park. It's just like the Burlington Sock Puppets last year in the Appalachian League. I mean, that's the logo. And for this league, the Northern League.
Line drive, left field, base hit for Brett Mattheis.
Oh.
And he gets past the left fielder, McKenna. Mattheis hits first. He's heading for second base, and he'll hold up there. That'll be a single and an E7. And the Corn Dogs have a runner in scoring position after another great swing from Mattheis going the opposite way.
Yeah, when I first saw you guys with the logo, I was like, wow, they did it. That's a great-looking logo.
Well, you've heard the name. Have you heard the reason behind the name?
I don't know the reason. I know I did have Ralph Flores on the podcast a few months ago. I don't know if we talked about the reason.
So if you look in right field, you see some of a cornfield.
Okay.
And the field was built off a cornfield before Crown Point Babe Ruth moved over here, not too far away. Schultz is at the plate. The pitch is strike. And Crown Point is known to be the Bulldogs. But
That's right.
everyone is named the Bulldog because of it. And we got to get away from that. So we went cornfield, Bulldogs, Corn Dogs.
Okay.
And it also helps that the Lake County Fair is maybe 5 minutes down the road from here. 1-1 now is Schultz with 2 outs and a runner on second. So when you think of
Corn dogs.
County Fair,
That's a
you
great
think
idea.
Corn Dogs.
Yeah, now, he said you guys have your own corn dog batter here, recipe?
No, we
No?
don't.
Oh,
Actually,
not yet.
We're working on it, I think. But we do have corn dogs. There's a line drive in the center field. Schultz hit it hard. Mattheis hits the corner. He's headed for home to drop the ball by Fenner. And the Corn Dogs are on the board first. A good swing of the bat from Schultz, and he drives in his P&W teammate. Corn Dogs are up 1. That was a nice swing.
I'll tell you, 2 outs, a double and a single. Yeah, that was a nice up the middle swing. That was going to score whether he picked that ball up cleanly in the center field. So it's you never know what happens in baseball.
You didn't think you were going to see Lucas Giolito get touched up the
No.
way he did against the Blue Jays.
Oh
today.
God, believe you me, the fans sitting there almost expected it. I mean, it's like they're cussing at him. Little kids are yelling at him at the White Sox game. It's when you have like a 10-year-old cussing at the opposing teams, yelling at the fans. There's a lot of Blue Jay fans at the game, surprisingly. Here, all the kids are well behaved, chasing the foul balls, no cussing. So
That's a good start for us.
yeah, that's a good start. It's out from New Jersey. That we start cussing at an early age.
So you being from Jersey,
Yeah.
Are you loyal to a team up in the East?
Yes, Mets.
Oh,
New
you're
York,
a Mets fan.
Yeah, New York Mets
Okay.
fan. And they got roughed up. They didn't get roughed up, but they've lost 2 in a row to the Astros. So it's a long season. I got to tell myself that.
We don't have the Grom or Scherzer.
Yeah.
It doesn't help either.
Yeah, well, they're doing well without them. But my goodness, I would love to see those 2 guys 1 and 2 in the pitching order.
Kuntz gets a walk. He gets over the first base.
All on 2 outs here. So
Yeah, it was a pop out and then a single from Terry that was picked off. a single and an E7 by Mathies, and then a single by Schultz drove in Mathies, and the inning continues for the Corn Dogs.
Yeah. So have the Corn Dogs have kind of a rivalry so far in this league, or is it too soon?
Been compared a lot to the Oilmen, who've been the crown jewel of
Yeah,
the league.
yeah, I know the Oilmen.
4 straight league championship series appearances. The Southland Vikings have become more of a rival due to the consistent play against one another.
Yeah.
This is the 7th game through the first full month of play. And this is the oldest franchise in the league, and the Corn Dogs are the newest franchise.
Yeah.
So it's like grandpa versus the newborn in this game.
Well, I see one thing I like about this league is guys are not traveling 6-7 hours to a game. It's furthest game is an hour, if that.
Just a little bit over an hour.
Okay.
In Carroll Streams, Illinois, at Wheaton College, the Joliet Generals.
Yeah.
The Corn Dogs played a doubleheader there, and I think another game is coming up soon against the Generals out there. But that's also been a really nice part, considering how inflation's been and saving money, staying at home.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. I mean, how much is a ticket to get in here?
I want to say it's
$8.
and then maybe 6 for kids. I'm
Yeah.
not quite sure on that.
So, I mean, you can't complain about those tickets because even the minor league games are going up. I mean, I think when I went to a Round Rock, Texas game, that's AAA for the Rangers. It was $15 to park.
1-2. Curiel hits one on the ground on the left side. Cano dives, backhands it, throws over the first base, and Curiel is out.
Ooh.
What a play by Blaze Cano, and that ends the inning. But the Corn Dogs get the first run. They go to the 4th. Corn Dogs up 1-0.
That was a major league play right there. That is, you know, you talk to people, this league is this. Nope. These kids can play.
Some great talent and some great plays thus far. We go to the 4th, 1-0. Top of the 4th inning, Corn Dogs up 1-0 on the Vikings, and the first pitch to Pilicki is just out. Ball 1. Andrew Mild still here with Mark Viquez. I think I said that right.
Viquez, yeah.
Viquez.
You'd be surprised. Yeah, it feels like younger people.
Clobbered in the center. Terry moves in and makes the play. That's a line out to start the 4th. So you being a Mets fan, you've been to both Shea and City, and you being a ballpark hunter, which one was your favorite? Shea, City? I've been to City, but I think I was too young for Shea.
I mean, Shea Stadium was. I mean, when you first get into baseball, that's the home field, but it was a dump, and they needed a new stadium. City Field, it's a much nicer facility.
What I liked about it, and I bet you know this, some people don't, it's an exact replica of Ebbets, where the Brooklyn Dodgers used to play.
Rotunda, yes, which I think a lot of people got upset because there was a lot of attention towards Dodgers. I like how Steve Cohen, the new owner, has the Tom Seaver statue. He's making it more Met-friendly because that's something the Mets.
Ground ball left side, Curiel backhands, gathers, fires a bullet over the first, and they retire McKenna on a 5-3 putout, and there's 2 outs to start the top of the 4th.
Yeah, I just think as a Met fan, you just want an owner that wants to win, will do anything to win, wants to honor the past by retiring numbers like Jerry Kuzman, Keith Hernandez, hopefully David Wright in the future, and just be proud of the team. And then, the Mets have the best record in the National League despite the 2 losses to the Astros. You just want some pride. You want guys to stay there their whole career, put up the numbers. The combined no-hitter this year was amazing. The 7-run comeback against the Phillies was beautiful.
Especially an NL East rival.
Oh, yeah, I hate the Phillies. Philadelphia, do not wear New York Mets or Giants.
Another grounder to Curiel. He'll go over the first, and it's a 1, 2, 3, top of the 4th. It's the middle of the 4th now. Corn Dogs lead by 1 run.
All right, that's the type of inning you like to see as a pitcher.
Especially when you're on a pitch limit. He's up to
Yes.
57 now, and he's put up 4 goose eggs against a red-hot Southland Vikings team.
Yeah, it's
Bottom of the 4th, Corn Dogs up 1-0. Andrew Milot and Mark Viquez on the call. And Lake County is up 1-0 and trying to snap the 6-game winning streak by the Southland Vikings. And James Burke has put him in position to do so. He's pitched 4 scoreless innings, but he's only allowed 1 hit. Ball down low to Scott Hansen.
now. Where are you originally from?
I was born in Hammond, lived there for a few years, and moved out to Winfield, Indiana. So I live right between Crown Point and Valpo. It's a strike, but I attended Crown Point schools, so
Okay.
I'm a local native.
Yeah.
In a way.
Yeah, it's nice up here. My wife, if I ever told her she wants to move back to Chicago sometimes, I said Crown Point would be a nice go-to. That'd
It's
be
not-
about a half hour from her mom.
Yeah, it's not too far away, and she lives on the north side or
She
the
lives in Hazelcrest.
Hazelcrest. Okay.
It's not that far from here. There actually is another. Well, the Chicago Americans
Yes.
don't play too far from Hazelcrest. I actually went to a game there last year, but I didn't. Just it felt like a city park, and
Fly ball right side coming in is Pilicki towards the line, and he makes the play. And it's a quiet first out to start the bottom of the 4th inning. The Corn Dogs were actually at Illinois Tech last night and played the American Giants
Yeah.
and won the game 10-4.
They're beautiful uniforms. Like, I would love to get a Chicago Americans cap. I didn't see any merchandise there. They were giving out popcorn, and there wasn't a lot of people there that game. And it was a hot summer Chicago day, so.
Yeah, the Corn Dogs have played 2 games in Chicago. Game 1, it was 99. Then yesterday it was 100.
Woo.
So, to say the least, me and Noel, my secondary broadcaster, slept pretty good last night.
Oh.
We were exhausted from being in the heat and calling the game from maybe 5 feet from the batter's box. So we had to be.
But these are the
This
stories.
one is crushed into right field. Going back is Pilicki. This one's got a chance. It's gone. Bunch of ticket for a solo cowhide joyride. Back-to-back games where Jake Ferry has left the yard. And that was an absolute bomb. Corn Dogs are up 2-0.
Yeah, that was crushed. You knew, you said that's a chance. Yeah, that was crushed right near the scoreboard there. That's a shot.
Well, he hit a bomb last night, and it was fun. And I wrote in the post-game report, if you're a Cubs fan or a Sox fan, all you had to say was wind was blowing out, and they can usually tell you how that game went. Mm-hmm. Corn Dogs hit 4 home runs yesterday. Ferry hit a no-doubter that probably went 340. Because of the wind, it traveled another 40 feet because of it. But the Corn Dogs really haven't hit too many home runs against other teams besides the American Giants, as they've now hit 8 of 11 home runs against one team.
No, that was a monster shot, and love to see the home run during a game.
Especially when you've been checking out time and time again. You saw plenty of home runs today on the south side.
Yeah.
And
I saw a grand slam by Bichette today.
Yeah, Bichette. That one was a no-doubter. And this is actually Nicholas Johnstone. He is from Australia.
Okay.
Brisbane, Australia. And we talked to him before the game. I'm going to see if you can get it. Can you guess who his favorite player is?
From Brisbane. Ooh, I should know this.
He swings and a miss, strike 3. I'll give you a hint. It's a fellow Australian player.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Who the heck is from Australia, the major leagues? This is.
You wouldn't have seen him today because he's injured.
Okay. Who the heck is.
He's the type of guy you don't want to be on the mic because when he pitches, he lets anything fly.
I think I'm stumped here. Who the heck is from Australia?
Liam Hendricks.
Liam Hendricks. You're right. Ugh. Okay.
That
makes sense.
Yeah, he was talking about him. Because I said, is baseball very popular in Australia? And he said, it kind of is. They have a semi-pro league.
Yeah, the Australian Baseball League during the winter, which I've been trying to get some folks from. I did get the Auckland Tuataras.
The Auckland Tuataras.
Yeah, they're in New Zealand.
Oh, wow.
They're the only professional baseball team in New Zealand. I had their owner talk to me for like an hour and a half on my podcast, Ballpark Hunter podcast. And he's telling me how he got into baseball in the 1980s as a kid, and he came out to the U.S. and he thought he was going to make a team. But he says it's popular. It has a niche market, but he just wants to make coming out to a game fun.
Yeah.
They took an old rugby ground and they converted it into a baseball field.
See, that's where I think of when I think of Australia or New Zealand is rugby, especially New Zealand, the All Blacks, I believe they call them, one of the most dominant rugby teams when they go to the World Cup.
They're famous. And then, Australia is known for Australian rules football.
Yes.
Which
I just found out they have that the other day.
Oh, you never knew about that?
No, I looked it up. Noel was telling me about it and read some of the rules. It was quite interesting. And it's even older than American football, which I thought it was after.
Well, I think what happened is some guys from Scotland came over playing soccer. Well, they were playing Gaelic, or I guess Ireland were playing Gaelic football, and they're like, "Oh, that's kind of cool. Let's play with that." And they came up with their own rules, and 100-some years later, you have Australian rules football, which. You think about all the tackling and hitting those guys are doing. They're not wearing helmets. They're not wearing pads. I don't think you have the concussion rates like you do in the National Football League. It's just tackling from the waist down, or from the arms down.
I know some of them do wear the all rubber helmet that kind of surrounds it, but I think I've only seen that in rugby.
Yeah, and if it's one place I can go, I would love to see an Australian rules football game. That or Manchester City. And do a review out there. But there's a guy who has a channel, and he says that sometimes when you're recording at an English Premier League game, people come up and tell you can't.
Really?
It's against broadcast rules. So I got to be a little careful.
Yeah,
That's what I've heard. May not be true, but
I've never been too big on the soccer, but I did have a roommate this year. He was a foreign exchange student from Germany, and I had to sometimes watch it, and they go crazy for, I guess you call it football on the other side of the pond.
My father's from Costa Rica. When he was visiting me, every time the national team was playing to qualify for a World Cup, it was on the edge of his seat. He called me up the other day when they qualified for the World Cup, and Did you hear? Costa Rica's in the World Cup. We're going to the World Cup. We beat New Zealand 1-0.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so he was excited. He's 92 years old, and that's the only sport I can watch with my dad. Baseball, he has no clue what's going on. He doesn't get if the ball's foul, why the guy isn't running, and things of that nature. But he's been known to take me to a Met game and bring out the Bible to read, or he'll bring a book.
And read as you're cheering.
Yeah, as I'm watching the Mets play as a kid and cheering for Dal Strawberry and Doc Gooden. He's out there with this book about Russian history, which that's my dad.
Ground ball tackled by Crowell. He kept it in front of him. He'll take over the bag. But Jake Ferry leaves the yard for a second straight night. Mark, thank you for joining our broadcast today. It was such a great time. And where can the watchers find you?
You can find me at Ballpark Hunter on YouTube. Like, comment, and subscribe. Also, follow me on Twitter.
Awesome. I'll make sure to follow you on Twitter right after this. Thanks for joining us. It was nice talking to you, and enjoy the rest of the game.
All right, appreciate it.
Corn Dogs up 2-0 here on the Corn Dogs Broadcasting Network. It's the top of the fifth inning. Vikings coming up down 2 runs after Jake Ferry's solo blast. We'll hand it back over to Noel Ferry.
Thank you, Andrew. Here's a reminder that Off Square Brewing is the official brewing partner of the Lake County Corn Dogs. At Off Square Brewing, we strive to be just that, off square. We think and brew outside the box. That brings up Blaise Cano, who has made some incredible plays today over at shortstop. Burke still in, and he catches left side of the strike zone for strike one. Cano's the type of guy, just like Schultz, he makes it look easy. That one's down low, ball one. But for Cano, I don't even know if I would say that he makes it look easy. He's definitely a flashy player out there, and he gets it done. 1-1, same spot, strike two.
You got to be flashy if you have a name like Blaise.
Exactly. A lot of great shortstops and second basemen in this league. 1-2. That one travels a little bit too far outside. 2-2. Yeah, that Ferry home run. Here's the break even. That one's down low once again, full count. I heard it, and it was just one of those where you knew that was gone.
Yep.
Even with the outfielders running back like you knew they were, it was gone. 3-2. That one's hit right to Colin Small. Makes a great field, throws over to Matt Eyes and grabs the out. 4-3 put out of Blaise Cano.
Well, that's the fun part about this game. It giveth and taketh away. Blaze Cannell is taking away a couple of hits. Colin Small takes away that burner over the right side, and Corn Dogs get a good first out as we're past halfway home, and Corn Dogs trying to stay at top of this division.
Here comes first pitch to Bo Pilicki. Strike one called. Yeah, we've seen some absolute screamers hit here tonight.
Yeah.
0-1. Burke fires. There's another one that goes foul. Just barely missed first base.
That was a good pitch by Burke. Tried to run a slider in on Pilicki, but Pilicki pulled his hands and tried to go the opposite way and missed it for a foul ball.
0-2. Burke dealing quickly. That one's just high. One and two count. That one's inside, ball two. I was actually able to speak to Jimmy Burke's dad, at not this past Chicago game, but the week before that. A lot of confidence in his son, and regularly comes and sees his games. 2-2, that one's fouled straight back. And that could be said about a lot of these guys. They've got great support here all around them. And, you know, the life of a traveling baseball player is tough. It's a lot of money. It's a lot of games. 2-2. Strike three called. Jamie Burke gets him looking.
And that's just the third strikeout for Jimmy Burke, as he's been pretty efficient through the first 4 2/3 innings, as he's only thrown 69 pitches and could throw maybe just one more depending on how this at-bat goes against Nick Doherty.
Doherty 0 for 1 on the day. He swings at the first, and that's right towards Curiel, who takes a weird bounce and bounces right off his chest. And that'll be an E5. Doherty reaches on.
Well, that's just brutal because Curiel did everything right, but just hit that lip just right to jump up and hit Curiel in the chest.
And you could see how surprised he was by that bounce. He kind of moved back away from it. But that brings up Kyle Fenner. Great hitter with a runner on first, but 2 outs here. So that one's hit right towards Schultz at second, who collects and throws for the force out at second. And that will end the inning. Still scoreless for the Southland Vikings. Lake County Corn Dogs on top, 2-0. We head to the bottom of the fifth.
Bottom of the fifth inning. And as we head into the inning, Misprint is the official printing partner of the Lake County Corn Dogs. We specialize in delivering the highest quality signs and printing on time and within budget. Big or small, we do it all. Visit misprintindiana.com to learn more about our services. Macron is the official jersey partner of the Lake County Corn Dogs. We work hard, play harder. Attorney David Glash represents clients that have cases involving personal injury, wrongful death, auto accidents, medical malpractice, and more. Visit dglashlaw.com to learn more today. Kuliak Construction, a proud partner of Lake County Corn Dogs, is your complete home improvement expert. From home remodeling, repairs, and roofing, we do it right. Contact us today at 219-923-3007. That's 219-923-3007.
Brett Mattheis up to bat. Had to have a little bit of a scoring correction there. That will not go down as a double for Brett Mattheis earlier in his previous at-bat. It was, in fact, a single and then an E7 that advanced him over to second, so it would be an unearned run there for the Lake County Corn Dogs. Tyler Schultz still grabs the RBI on the play. First pitch to Mathies is way outside.
Yeah, 'cause I think Mathies will score no matter what on the single,
Yes.
so you don't want to take the RBI away from Schultz. Just that Schultz got a free base. That's where the error comes into play.
And we've got an IBEW Local 697 pitching change with Liam McKillop taking the mound for the Southland Vikings. As that one goes inside and almost hits Mathies, 2-0. That's how you want to start off the inning ahead, as that one goes outside once again, 3-0.
And for McKillop, he comes in with just one inning pitched where he allowed 5 hits, 4 runs, all earned, struck out 2, gave up 2 doubles, and has a 36 ERA.
Looking to redeem himself a bit here. 3-0. That's strike one called. He caught that bottom right corner. That's a great pitch. Not a lot of guys are going to want to swing at that. If it's going to be called, and so be it. 3-1. That's down too low. 5 pitches and a walk for Brett Mathies, bringing up Tyler Schultz, 1 for 2 on the day with 1 RBI.
Well, if you're the Corn Dogs, you can't sit comfortable with just 2 runs against the Vikings offense. Again, they've scoring about 10 runs a game through their last 5 games, and they have a 6-game winning streak, so it could be even beyond that. But the way Burke's been pitching, you're happy, but his pitch count's getting up there, and the Corn Dogs do have time. It's warming up.
At some point, the runs most likely are going to come for the Vikings. That one goes outside and low for ball 1. But it's been great pitching and just great defense overall by the Corn Dogs tonight. Bend, don't break is the mentality out there, as Burke allowed bases loaded in the second inning, but walked away with no runs scored, as there's a big hack from Schultz. Strike 1. It's great to be up here in the booth for another reason, because there's no wind blowing on our headsets. That makes it impossible for me to hear Andrew. I've got him loud and clear beside me. Emphasis on the loud part. As that was a screamer hit towards Blaze Cano, who makes another diving play and grabs the out at second. No attempt on the play for Schultz at first, but the flip over to second on the force out by Blaze Cano. He is showing out at Legacy Fields tonight. Wow.
I think Hawk Harrelson best said it when you see a great play like that. Mercy.
Jeez. The dive, caught it midair, dropped it on the ground, but able to regain composure and flip it over to second. That's another MLB play, as there's a wild pitch, and Schultz will head over to second.
And there's nothing you can really do. That's the fun part about baseball, is there's stuff you can control and stuff you can't control. You can control hitting a screamer to the left side, but you can't control that Blaze Cano is going to leave the earth for a moment, catch the baseball, and throw out the runner at second base by almost bowling it over there.
1-0. Kuntz thinks about it, holds up, but that one catches right side for a strike.
That's one part. I wish we still had that technology that they have in baseball, where you can see on how many guys would actually make that play.
Exactly. Yeah, I don't know if anyone else there at short would be able to do what Blaze Cano does, as that one's hit straight up into the air. And Kyle Fenner calls off everyone else, and Roman Kuntz pops out to 8. Bringing up Cal Curiel for what looked like a great situation for the Corn Dogs. Schultz hits a screamer. You think runners at first and second, no outs. A big play by Blaze Cano to get Mathies out at second, and then Kuntz flies out to center field. Now you've got a runner in scoring position, but 2 outs for Cal Curiel. Another bend, don't break mentality for the Southland Vikings, as there's another screamer, but that one will hit the gap, takes a couple bounces, and Schultz is going home. The throw will not be in time, and the Corn Dogs take a 3-0 lead.
Well, no, we talked about it going into the game. The Corn Dogs were hitting just a 154 this season with runners on base in 2 outs. And Curiel is going to improve that average and keep living up to that nickname that is the Cardiac Kid.
Delivers with 2 outs.